Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fernando Ganosa. I'm the CEO of Atico Mining. So Atico was formed by the same group of people that founded Fortuna Silver Mines, a group of mine developers and operators. The idea behind Atico is to create a mid-tier producer in the copper and gold space. We have two assets that are taking us in the right direction in terms of fulfilling our objective. El Roble mine in Colombia is a high-grade VMS that has been in operation for over 30 years. And we also have La Plata in Ecuador, also a high-grade VMS that is under development in terms of feasibility study and permitting. Before we dive into the projects, let's review a little bit on the corporate information. I'll draw your attention to the balance sheet. We have a very healthy working capital of over 24 million, 10 million in cash, available credit of 6 million at our disposal. So in terms of our balance sheet, we are in a very good place as a producer. In terms of our shares, we have 121 million shares outstanding with no warrants. In terms of ownership, management and directors are the single largest shareholder of the company. We own close to 17%. So we think as shareholders, we make decisions with the shareholder cap on when it comes to deciding where and how we grow the company. So El Roble mine, as I mentioned, is a high-grade VMS that has been in operation for over 30 years. We bought it in late 2013 and transformed the operation from an artisanal mine into an operation with a very good cash flow and very high standards. It produces a very clean concentrate with gold and silver byproducts that we are selling into mainly to China. We have also 6,300 hectares surrounding El Roble mine. El Roble is a VMS, and the theory is that VMS might come in camps. So one of the things we're doing at El Roble to fulfill our organic growth is looking for other VMSs that will come along El Roble mine. And we'll get into that in a second. Before that, in the past 4 quarters, even though the copper price has dipped this year, we were able to produce over $11 million in terms of cash flow from operations and a healthy free cash flow of close to 7 million with a very good all-in sustaining margin. We do have a life of 2.5 years of reserves, which is rather short. But keep in mind that this operation has been ongoing for 30 years. As we have been mining, we have been replacing what we mine. In the last few years, we haven't been as successful, and I explain why, and what's the theory of what we're going to do to replace and extend the life of mine at El Roble. So this is a long section of El Roble mine. What you see here is the mineralized pods that we have been mining, and you can see the plunge coming to the left-hand side of the slide. Now, we were successful pursuing mineralization at depth until we found a system of faults that presumably has displaced the continuation of the mineralization. What we're trying to understand is where the mineralization has been displaced, and that's our focus right now, to try and then extend again the life of mine of El Roble. All the indications we have from a geological perspective is the mineralization still continues at depth because we're still mining the high copper, high gold grade areas of the deposit. And as the BMS are very zoned, we believe that once we get to the edge of the deposit, we're going to start seeing other metals like zinc, like barium, and copper and gold are going to start decreasing the grade. We still haven't seen that. So we believe the rest of the deposit is somewhere at depth, and we are yet to find it. And that's at the mine itself. This is a map of the 6,500 hectares surrounding El Roble mine. You can see the geology on it. And there below, El Roble mine is more or less where all the drill holes in red are marked. And 3 targets below El Roble mine, you can see Anomalía 8, it's Anomaly 8. And I'll draw your attention to that target, where we recently discovered a massive sulfide outcrop that was grading over 30% copper. So that the importance of that, of course, is that since it's an outcrop, there's a good possibility that we'll find the continuation of that at depth. We're currently running a drill program to figure out what's below that massive sulfide outcrop that was significantly rich with, again, over 30% copper. Now, this is a 10-kilometer trend. The interesting thing is that after 5 years of exploring this, we continue to find new things, new interesting indicators that this is really prospective to find other VMSs. So if you ask me where we are now against where we were 5 or 6 years ago when we started investing in exploration, I'll say we're more bullish now with the information we have that there is a possibility of finding other VMSs besides El Roble. So that's the second focus here at El Roble, to not only extend the life of mine, but also find other VMSs beyond El Roble mine. Now, moving to Ecuador. Ecuador, it's another VMS. It's more polymetallic in nature, but still very high grade. It's under development. We are working on the feasibility study and the permitting. La Plata is very high grade in terms of gold equivalent. It's close to 13 grams per ton. Although, as you can see on the slide, it has zinc, copper, gold, and silver as well. We anticipate that most of the revenue will come from copper and gold, probably around 40% from copper and 40% from gold. This is 2 million tons of inferred that we are now, as part of the feasibility study, migrating to measure and indicate it to then convert into reserves and the probable and probable reserves. We have already finished the drill program, and we're very happy with the results of migrating in terms of tonnage and grade this resource into a reserve. On top of that, we also have a significant land package surrounding La Plata. And as you can see here on this slide, there are several evidences that have already proved that there's massive sulfide mineralization beyond La Plata deposit in this project. So this is work previously done by other companies, but also by ourselves. And what we need to do now that we're working on is following through on these discoveries to figure out if the tonnage is right to have another deposit that will go along La Plata. This is very prospective. We're very excited about the fact that we have at least 3 targets that are very interesting and potentially 2 more that can become drill targets to find another VMS. So we have El Roble, we have La Plata. El Roble is producing, it's generating good cash. We are basically using those funds generated by El Roble to reinvest into the exploration and development of our 2 assets. So we're doing all of this for our self-generated funds. A little bit on our social responsibility programs. As producers, as developers and producers, we are focused on making it right, making it sustainable, and this is a huge part of what we do. We invest a lot of time and resources of being part of the community and giving back to the community. And at El Roble, we have a lot of success in terms of transforming the operation from an artisanal mine into an operation that is really valued by the community. And I'll finish by saying that this is a group of proven developers and operators. We did it with Fortuna Silver Mines. We're emulating that with Atico Mining. We're generating cash, so we are not constantly going to the market. We have 2 high-grade deposits that have the potential to grow the exploration upside. And in some cases, especially in La Plata, it's underexplored. So thank you very much for that.